Let me introduce our first speaker to today. So the first speaker today is Thierry Ngutegure, who has been on a few of our webinars, but is also like an entrepreneurial force. He is full of personality. He is a giving, kind person. And I'm thrilled to bits that he can be here today. I can't see Thierry, so I'm going to say, can you please give Thierry a huge round of applause and welcome him. There he is.
Thank you. How much of a banger is this? Right? Let's go. What? All right. Before we get done by Spotify. Jesus Christ. Good morning, you lovely people. Look at all of you looking stunning. And I am just perpetually sweating, so do forgive me. My moisturizer hasn't set. It's a rough time for everybody, really. So, I wanted to give a bit of a different talk today. So typically, I talk about data and insight and things like that. But over the last 18 months, I've had a bit of an existential crisis. I think now, as more than ever as marketers, we're kind of being called upon to be many things all the time, everywhere. So one minute you're an analyst, the next minute you're doing some branding, the next minute you're making cups of teas, the next minute you're HR, right? We're super skilled individuals, and I think sometimes we don't give ourselves the grace or even the pat on the back to be like, this career path that we have chosen is one of reinvention. So what I want you guys to take away today is to give yourself that level of empathy and go, do you know what? I'm actually trying my best at every turn that I kind of see. And also, the fact that people are calling upon me is a skill set in itself. Imagine that people trust you with so much that you just have to grab that, go for it, right? Don't ever think, oh, should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? Am I not good at this? No, embrace wearing many hats. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a story of how I kind of got here as well and how I've got the title of Head of Data Insights, except I see myself as the worst analyst in the world. Right? My boss isn't here, so don't worry about that. We're good, right? So, quick introduction. Hi, my name is Thierry. I think that's probably pretty obvious. Hi. Who said hi there? Hi. But not Thierry. I'm half the height and none of the talent. So don't get it confused. I mean, he is a horrendously good-looking man and extremely talented, and that is not me, just in case anyone's disappointed and thought Henri was going to come on stage. Now, my job role, as I say, I'm the head of data insights, but what my true skill set is using insight to develop ideas, concepts, campaigns, and products. And I'll take you through all of that, but what I really want to do is go all the way back to the beginning as to who the hell I am. So I was born in this little tiny place called Rwanda, and if anybody's ever heard of that, it's a beautiful place. Go holiday there. It's absolutely fantastic. I've moved around in many different places, exposed to many cultures, many languages, many peoples, but yet somehow I still have a northern accent, but here we are. It is what it is. You can't get everything. African blood, Western upbringing. How heavy does my sister look? And why do I look like my own granddad? Look at that. Yes, those are the trousers I'm wearing today. And I had the blessing of being able to go to 9 educational institutions, so you can only imagine my parents every time. He was like, right, Thierry, we're moving again. 9 schools. Imagine that. I was a new kid 9 times. So imagine that. And my parents wanted a lot from me in life. They wanted me to become a doctor, as any first-generation immigrant. You're going to grow up and become a doctor, Thierry. So that's exactly what I did. And I do have to say my glutes are significantly better now than they were then, so thank you very kindly. And so, this was during a time period where during my 20s and 30s, you're told to be doing this, be doing that, investing in this, doing whatever and all sorts. But what it kind of boiled down to was all of that experience was allowing me to collect different opinions, cultures, understand what I wanted from the world and what I wanted to put in there, what I wanted to build. And so then I went ahead and did that. So I launched a peanut butter brand called Mother Nutter, which we got into Selfridges, and I've recently sold on, which is super exciting. I launched a podcast just like any man ever. Hashtag don't let men buy microphones anymore. And I built a handbag rental business, which myself and my partner run, which is super cool. I've launched a tequila brand. As you can see, I clearly just a bit of an alcoholic or just create things that I want, right? And I've launched a bunch of other kind of beers. And most recently, I launched a supplement brand that helps with tiredness, fatigue, and the after effects of drinking alcohol. You see what I did there? Launched tequila. Supply and demand, people. Supply and demand. Okay? Get them hooked. But all of that is to say that, what on earth do I know about manufacturing? Peanut butter. What on earth do I know about handbags? Unless it's Gucci. Okay? What on earth do I know about building supplement brands? Absolutely nothing, right? But as a marketer, every day we're called upon to be strategists, creatives, analysts, etc. And this is why I really want you guys to take away that cognitive flexibility is a skill set that we have. And whenever we think about wearing many hats, it really is a superpower that we own and something that we really need to give ourselves empathy for, right? And, this extends to real life as well. We're all trying to, balance social life, seeing our friends enough, going to the gym, having an 8-step skincare routine, or for some of us, just flying to Turkey because this patch is just not growing back, right? We're all just trying our best, okay? But all of this, it stems from the pressure of, feeling that you need to master everything. I think that we look at businesses like Gymshark, for example, and the incredible stuff that Ben Francis has done, where he's taken, something that he had an idea about and taken it to £1 billion brand. But we're really obsessed with like the ownership of things and trying to build it and being like, I am the one who is the tip of the spear. But realistically, wearing many hats means that we can just swap those hats and give them to other people at any time. So we shouldn't really have this kind of pressure of like mastering everything. Because to be honest with you, when I built like the peanut butter or the tequila brand, I have no idea about tequila. Actually, fun story, I got a letter from the cartel when I was. Are you here today? No. So I didn't know that, yes, in order to make tequila, it has to be from the tequila region of Mexico, but the cartel runs the glassware there, right? So then I was like, oh, I'll just ship it from here to the UK, and I got a letter kind of saying, don't think that's how it works, big man. And I was like, how do you know I live in Bradford? But this is what I mean. So it's all about the idea of this pressure of owning stuff. The first thing I do when I'm building products or ideas is actually give the equity away. Find somebody who is significantly better than I am and say, here is 50% of an incredible idea, because I'd rather own 50% of something quite incredible than 100% of absolutely nothing, right? And then the other side of it as well is this imposter syndrome factor of constantly wondering whether I'm really good at this. And to be honest with you, I've got myself into a point with imposter syndrome where I'm like, if I have that feeling, I'm in the right space, right? I'm doing something super cool, and I'm doing something that I really feel has value for me. So I really lead into it. And then there's this kind of mental load of balancing, creative thinking with data-driven decisions, stakeholder management, brand performance. Like, there is a lot. It is a large load. And once again, this is where I'm trying to implore you guys to just have empathy for that, okay? You are called upon to do many things, and you're trying your best. Have empathy. That cognitive switching is not easy. And, the data backs that up. That marketing used to be a craft. Now it's a career with constant reinvention. The expectation to wear many hats isn't just a perception. It's backed by data. So 62% of marketers, feel stretched and too thin. Put your hands up if you feel personally victimized by that stat. Right? She doesn't even go here. Sorry. Just for anyone that got that. And what I'm trying to get across here is I was listening to a talk by an incredible business lady called Kate Leeson, who talks about, the level of empathy around taking it away from work-life balance to work-life blend. The idea that we need to kind of balance this ever-tipping seesaw is why we feel overwhelmed or we feel stretched too thin. But actually embracing this level of blending. Because as you can imagine, I have a 9-to-5 job and I also run 3 products. How on earth am I going to balance that? It just doesn't stack up. I blend it. Within a given day, I try my best and wear this hat. Within a given hour, I try my best and wear another hat. That's absolutely fine. Just give yourself that level of empathy to be able to work within that space, right? And also what I wanted to kind of get across as well is it's a superpower to have the ability to, have a great breadth of knowledge across a lot of things, but also some deep expertise in a specific thing. And so introducing the idea of that T-shaped marketer, which a lot of us have kind of come across. So during my existential crisis, one of the things I was thinking about was individuals who are kind of I-shaped. So these are experts and specialists who are like deep expertise in one field. So my cousin, he's an engineer for Google, and he has real deep expertise. And when I was speaking to him as well, I was kind of envious because if I went on Mastermind, I have no idea what my expert subject would be. Absolutely no idea, right? But these individuals, are incredible, right? And then you've got the other generalists. So these are individuals who are great around startups or consultants, and they have a kind of a inch-deep knowledge across many, 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 many different things. But the way I want you guys to kind of have a think about this is this kind of T-shaped aspect of understanding multiple areas but having a deep expertise in one, because that is where you kind of, it grows yourself and your business realistically, right? So the idea that when I was building a lot of these brands and products, I have no idea about manufacturing in any way, shape, or form, but I have a deep expertise in understanding insights, customer positioning, segmentation, what's our pricing going to be when we go to market? Is anyone even going to buy this? What is the size of the market? Has anyone else been acquired within this, right? Taking insight and contextualizing what I'm going to do. And then I have a broad understanding of creativity. I know what something cool looks like, right? No? Cool. I know what cool things look like. I understand what that market needs based on the data that I have. But then at the same time, I'll join up with somebody else who has deep expertise in, creative branding or positioning or whatever that might be in order for us to connect up and really supercharge that insight. And it's all about this kind of embracing adaptability. And it doesn't mean, mastering everything. It's more about knowing when to switch hats and how you can leverage your unique skill set. So learning to switch hats isn't just necessary, it's an advantage that strengthens your strategic thinking and creativity. And so as I kind of boil to the end, I just wanted to share with you guys some hints and tips. It's a lot of writing on these slides, so feel free to kind of screenshot as we kind of go through. But whenever I talk about that blended way of working, and it's not about work-life balance, it's about work-life blend, we still need to have boundaries in the way that we work. Let's be realistic, because at the end of the day, I have a wife to go home to and to love, right? And the last thing she needs as well is me chained to my computer being like, I've got this great idea. It's tequila and a hangover cure? No, that's the last thing she wants to hear from me. So I'm just going to share a couple of tips that I kind of use whenever I'm, building products, ideas, or campaigns that kind of keep me sane, as it were. So there is this 80-20% rule, so it's Pareto's rule, depending on what you know about analytics and mathematics or whatever that might be, but the idea being that you focus 80% of your time on high-value tasks, and then you delegate the 20%. So if you are one individual band, for example, so you work on your own, that might be just a case of reporting. I know it's really, really important, but realistically, can I automate it? Is there something I can bring in there that can take that load off me or speed up a certain thing? And so, this just allows me on any given day to really also critically analyze the tasks I'm doing, because my to-do list is just never going to end, let's be realistic. So then it really allows me to categorize and go, does this thing categorically matter, right? And whether or not I should therefore hand it off, automate it, or give it to somebody else. And then there's the idea of batching as well. So batching similar tasks together. So on any given day, on a morning, I'm a morning person. So for me, the mornings are all about creativity. So I'll consume content, I'll read the news, I'll try and understand what myself and other competitors are doing, and then in the evening, it's more about that critical analysis, whether I'm running some data or I'm actually balancing spreadsheets or whatever that might be. But it allows me to cognitively switch when I choose to do so, because one of the worst things I find sometimes is I will go to do a piece of work, I'll see a notification on Instagram, and then next thing I know, I've bought some curtains on TikTok. And it happens. It really does happen. So once again, just give yourself a little bit of empathy around that. And then it's this idea of hat swapping as well. I really, 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 really love this idea. So create a hat swap system within your team. So this is identifying the people who are best at what they do and creating this kind of brain trust. So this is a go-to list of experts, freelancers, etc., who can bridge that skill for you. So anytime I have created any of those kind of brands or products, I have individuals who are creative designers, tone of voice experts. I have individuals who are, can give me some insight in manufacturing, etc. And, as soon as I have an idea, those are the people that I call in because they're significantly better than I am. They can, cut any mistakes I've made in half by just having that level of expertise. But realistically, it's up to me to acknowledge that I am not the best at that thing and bring in other people who are. It's quite simple. And once again, when I kind of build these ideas, the first thing I do is actually just give away equity. So we'll sit down and I'll go, I've got this incredible idea, have 50%. because that 50% I can't do as well as you can. So why not give it away, right? And so then what I want you guys to take away is not backflips, is just to be brave and build this hat collection. I think as marketers, once again, we are called upon to do many things, to be many people, and to wear many hats. But I think we punish ourselves for that a lot of the time. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys, give yourself a little bit of a pat on the back, have some empathy, and share, right? Because realistically, without sharing, we don't really get that far in humanity or as a community. So I just want to finish off by saying, please connect with me. I have a bunch of ideas that I need you all for. And please catch me in the breaks. I would love to connect and share ideas, concepts, insight, data, if anybody needs any help. But it was an absolute pleasure to speak to you guys today. And hope you have an incredible time.